And let's move on to Barcelona. Last season, they were killing it. They won by 10 points ahead. And now what is going on? Trailing not just Real Madrid, but Girona as well. They're not doing well. There's reports of so many different complaints from all over. Xavi just looks like he's done, or at the least very defeatist. And our own Ryan Hannon, you wrote a great piece regarding what's going on right now. So let me just ask you straight away, Ryan, regarding Barcelona, which we talked about. They won by 10 points last season. What would you say? What's the single biggest issue at La Blaugrana?
They give up too many goals. Last year, they gave up the fewest goals of any team to win La Liga ever, which is quite good. And it averaged out to 0.4 goals allowed per game. And it was at a lower rate than that. And then they won the league and kind of took their foot off the pedal, foot off the brake, maybe, if we're talking about defense. This year, they're at 1.2 goals allowed per game, which some advanced analytics tells me that's 3 times the rate of conceding goals that they allowed last year. And yeah, I think, we focus a lot on Robert Lewandowski not like lighting up the scoreboard this year. But to me, the issue is that they're giving up a ton of goals. They gave up 4 to Bilbao and gave up 4 to Madrid in the Super Cup not long before that. So the main issue is that it's just way too easy to score against them this season.
So they're too weak at the back. And I feel, Shaka, this is something that maybe Xavi, because it's not like he just arrived and he knows about what's happening right now. Obviously, they have to rely on youth and La Masia. But to Ryan's point, they keep conceding. How much danger would you say Xavi is in right now? Or does he have a little bit more of a legroom just because of who he is?
I think Xavi has got to the end of the season. I honestly don't think Xavi will be Barcelona's manager next season. He kind of set his precedent of around winning silverware. Well, they're still in 2 competitions. Yes, I don't see them winning either of those in La Liga or the Champions League. So I think he's kind of set the benchmark for his own dismissal. And I really do sympathize. As Ryan is pointing out, things are so different between this season and last. And not just in terms of their defending, but their play. Even when they have won games this season, it's not been at all convincing. There's been murmurings from within the dressing room seemingly all season long. I think Laporta has had a lot to do with that, and all of a sudden those murmurings have become a lot more loud and noticeable. Also, injuries really haven't helped Xavi. When you lose key players like Ter Stegen, when you lose Gavi, who is such an emotional spark for Barcelona, nothing has seemed to go right. But then this is Barcelona. You are supposed to be able to cope with things when they aren't absolutely perfect. We aren't talking about Girona here. We're talking about Barca. So unfortunately, as highly as I regard Xavi, I just can't see, given everything that's been happening on the pitch, everything that's been happening behind the scenes, I just can't see him being manager next season.
All right, but there's a lot of talk on Xavi right now. All the fingers are being pointed at him, rightly so. He's the head coach, he's the manager, Ryan. But, and I feel when I read some of his quotes, obviously he's taking the blame, but he's also saying something like, we're playing with kids. The squad is small. This is what I mean when I say we're in construction. I think this is the start of something big, whether I am here or not. Barca have a big future. So he's talking about the future and about building, but he's also saying that the squad is small right now. How much blame should we have on the front office? I mean, Shaka talked about Joan Laporta. I mean, I know that financial, issues are obviously still there, ever so present, but how much of the blame does Xavi take as opposed to everybody else upstairs that's making the bigger decisions?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to talk about this, like, after just talking about Liverpool, where Klopp did an amazing job, but also they were on an incredible hot streak of signing amazing players for not a ton of money for like 5 straight years, and really helped Klopp succeed. While Barcelona, like, we shouldn't forget, like, things were bad when Xavi took over. Things were way worse than they are right now with Barcelona in 3rd place in the round of 16 in the Champions League. And then they won the league the next season. And they won the league the season after, like, spending a whole summer talking about all the levers that they were pulling. You know, remember that? We haven't heard about levers in a while. I don't know.
I haven't missed that, man.
Only a
I was
year
like,
ago.
how many levers you got?
Yeah. So, you know, when you're pulling levers to sign new players, it's not really a great, like, stable situation to manage in. And it's been a pretty, like, I think over the 3 seasons, he's had very different teams, right? His first half season, like, Aubameyang was a key player. Last year, Busquets was still there. Dembele was still there. Number of other guys that have left. And this year with the team, Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo are both playing a lot. And those are guys that are on loan. And you just usually don't rely on loan players when you're Barcelona to play, like, more than half of your minutes in a season. So yeah, I think the wider issue here is the kind of general upheaval, and, like, but we both have good young players, but then we're selling our future to sign old players. Kind of unclear what the plan is at Barcelona. So yeah, I think always with these things, outside of, like, a handful of managers that are just, like, truly game changers, I don't think, honestly, replacing Xavi, unless you somehow bring in Pep, is going to change things significantly for Barca.